Welcome back, everybody, to a stock portfolio update. My name is Westy with Westy Invests, and today we're going to be taking a look at how my portfolio has performed over the last 2 weeks from the last update on August 15th. And as you can see right here, my total net worth is sitting at $55,582.56, and that is up about 17 or about $1,800 from the last update where my net worth was almost at 54,000. This is made up of Fidelity, about $800 in Fidelity, with a little over $35,000 in my Charles Schwab accounts, and then in cash, I have just about $20,000, and that is putting me about 55.6% all the way to my goal of getting to $100,000. But let's go take a look in Snowball Analytics, and we can take a look at all of my or all the portions of my investments and not the cash, because cash is earning about 5.1%. So I'm making about $76 a month there right now. So if we take a look here in Snowball Analytics, this is like the total net worth thing. We can actually go in and take a look at my Roth where nothing has changed. I've made no purchases just because my Roth IRA is already maxed out. So I think it's more important to take a look at my overall net because I am adding to my taxable account, and my goal is to get that to about $10,000 by the end of the year. So I need to contribute another 5,000, depending on what the market does. But I do think it is important to take a look at everything in a whole because overall that is my net worth. So you can see my total investments through all these accounts is $35,876.89, and my total profit is about $9,553. And then over here on the right, we can see that I'm just about a 2.5% dividend yield, but we'll get to the dividends here in just a moment. I'm a firm believer in index funds and buying things that reduce your overall risk and just making things as simple as possible. So I hope that you guys can see that when you see that the vast majority of my overall portfolio is invested into ETFs like VOO, BTI, and Charles Schwab's SCHD, which is quickly becoming one of my favorites, and I actually bought SCHD in the last week. Next, I have mainly one position in the financial class, which is UWMC. I have 781 shares. They pay 10 cents per share in dividends, so I get about just under $80 in dividends from this company every single quarter. In consumer staples, this is my best dividend payer of Altria Group, just because it has about a 7.7% dividend rate right now. Then I'm building a position in Kenvu, which is a Johnson & Johnson spinoff. Then we have Coca-Cola, where I only have 3.31 shares, but I've gained about 10% in that company just based off of the dividend reinvestment. And then I also have 3 shares of Walmart. And then the last one I'm going to go over is my Realty Income Corporation. I have 26.61 shares, up about $100, a little over. Um, and currently, we can actually go and take a look at this, and it shows the overall dividend history and the dividend growth. But they've been paying dividends for the last 27 years, and I think that's just something that's really solid. Shows you the overall growth and how the company's been able to perform year over year. The dividend over the last 5 years is up about 3.5% every single year. And right now, the dividend yield is sitting at about 5.08%. So if we go back to my portfolio, um, we'll be able to see that my last week, the best stocks that I had performing were going to be UWMC and VOO. Um, One thing I think is really important to note with my portfolio is when I first started investing, I really liked UWMC. I liked the consistent dividends, and I didn't really know about dividend growth. So that is why I was buying something that, at least at the time when I was purchasing it, it was relatively cheap. My average cost is about $5.50, but it's paying 10 cents per share, and my yield on cost is extremely low or sorry, extremely high. And that is fantastic because I'm getting about 7 to 8% when if you were to buy it now, you're only getting about 4.5%. So I do have some dividends coming up this month. So let's go over and check this out. So tomorrow I should be getting my dividend from Pfizer, dividend from Walmart, and then it's the ex dividend date for Realty Income. And then Wednesday I get the ex dividend date for Whitestone REIT. But let's go take a look at the overall dividends that I'll be receiving over the next month. So in September, I have quite a few dividend payments. On Tuesday the 3rd, I should be getting just under $10 at $9.46 from Pfizer and Walmart. Then the next dividend I will get will be 1 week later on the 10th, and that's $2.05 from ExxonMobil. My Whitestone REIT, it was money that was reinvested when I had already sold the shares, so I have zero point 0.1 of a share of Whitestone REIT, so we're not going to count that. Then I get $7 from Realty Income on Friday the 13th. And then my next payment will be on Saturday the 21st from SPLG and S&P 500 ETF. And then I will get my next payment on Wednesday the 25th from Charles Schwab's SCHD for $5.87. And then the final payment of the month is going to be from VTI, and that is $4.92. And totaled up at the top, I will have $30.89 of dividend income in the month of September, but that does not include any additional purchases that I might make. But usually, the ex dividend date, as we saw for Realty Income, the monthly dividend payer, that is not going to really play into this equation just because it is going to be the ex dividend date will have already happened by the time I make any more purchases. So, as you probably saw up here, forecasted in the next year, I will be making $884.94, which is about a 2.47% dividend yield. That's making me $73.75 every single month and $2.42 every day. And this is nowhere close to anywhere that I'll be able to live on in the near future. But as I continue to add to my positions, and continue to see growth, this will end up amounting to quite a bit when I do retire in the future. And one thing to remember is that you need to start as soon as possible when it comes to investing, because the old saying says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. So the same thing goes for investing. The sooner that you start, the more time you have for compound interest and compound gains to really work their magical effect, because once the snowball gets rolling, it really grows fast, and making 1 or 2% on $1,000 is significantly different than making 1 or 2% on $100,000 or $500,000 once you finally get there. And I'm hoping to get there as soon as possible. So, the last thing that I want to go over is I did make a handful of purchases, and these purchases were made just on this past Thursday, I believe. So, I'll go ahead and put the video up on the screen now. But I did purchase 10 shares of Pfizer, putting me up to 35.59 shares of Pfizer, and it's still putting me down just a little bit at down 1.89%, which is okay because I'll continue to buy them as the stock price goes down, just having a higher yield on cost. And then I also purchased one more share of Charles Schwab's SCHD, and that puts me at 8.97 shares. If you made it all the way through the video, I'd like to say thank you so much for following me on my journey. I think it's really cool that people tune in just to see how I'm doing in my investments, and it does help me kind of keep track of where I started and where I've gotten to since I started the channel and really started making videos. I'm up about $10,000. Um, so I think that's really cool, and it's really inspiring to have people reach out, have comments, questions, and being able to feel like I'm helping someone in their investment journey, just like I've had people help me on mine. So if you appreciate the video, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, take care and happy investing.